Monday Night Wars Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Monday Night Wars. It is February 3rd, 1997, and we are live with 2 hours of WCW Nitro, and maybe 2 hours of something else too, but we'll get into that later, because we are at the Mid-South Coliseum and Memphis. That's how you say it's French. It's not. Tennessee.
Absolutely.
Yeah. With me is Joseph. Joseph, how are you doing, my friend?
Well, the audience can't see this because we haven't gotten video editing yet, but I just spilled water all down my front.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's save that for the blooper reel. Yeah. The company we use, I'll give them a shout out because they've been good to us, right?
They have. Yes, they have.
I think it's pronounced Alitu.
On that video, he said Alitu.
Alitu.
Yeah.
So Alitu. And we picked it because they sold it as like podcasting for dumb people.
Which we are definitely that.
Turns out we are. So it does a lot of the stuff for us. It makes editing very easy. As Joseph can attest, because he does 90% of the editing, because I was way too perfectionist about it and it took me days. And he was like, bro, I'll just do it. But it cuts out a lot of the pauses, loud noises, tries to smooth out our levels. It does all this stuff for us. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, pretty much if we record on a Sunday like we are today, if we record on a Sunday, there is guaranteed at some point during this recording, one of my neighbors has a giant muscle car and he is going to rev that engine for like 10 minutes. And you guys never hear anything. We do. We both hear it, but it cuts that clear out without it being a problem, which is fantastic. And it's just so easy to edit.
It's so good that sometimes it kind of spoils the fun, right? When I do my clap.
Yeah.
Which I'm doing right now, but you will not hear those claps because it's going to cut those out.
Yeah. If you make weird noises, for sure it will spoil that, which is unfortunate. But I guess I'll take that over some asshole neighbor revving for fucking 15 minutes.
And just a lot more work.
Yeah.
But they claim, because apparently people want it, they claim they're going to allow video recording here at some point. And Joseph really wants to do video once we have that capability. I'm skeptical because I think it's going to make editing a nightmare, because then you're just going to have weird cuts when you cut out something of us saying something dumb.
Yeah.
But, you're the editor, so if you want to create that headache for yourself, God bless you.
That's why I think we should do a test. I think we should do like a half-hour test where we just babble about whatever, and I can play with that and see how it works. You want to hear something exciting about our podcast? I teased this to you before we hit record, and I told you I would tell you it. We have officially gone over 100 subscribers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who are these people?
There are triple digits of people who are foolish enough to listen to us, and we love you for it. Thank you guys so much.
One hundo episode. This is the one hundo episode. It's actually not. It's like episode
75, I think. 75, 76.
I try to keep track of that. This pod, man. I'm just so happy to be here. Yeah, well, let's get into it. Now let's actually talk. Let's go in the Wayback Machine. Back to 1997. And we open with the NWO is out because Super Brawl is coming. So we got to do a promo where we shit on Rowdy Piper, don't we, Joseph?
Absolutely, we do. Is that my segue in?
That was your segue. Okay. God.
Sorry, your segues are usually so much smoother. I was surprised by that.
Whoa!
Hogan.
Whoa! You saying that segue wasn't smooth?
You know what? I'm just in a bad space. I just can't watch Big Bang Theory. You know what I mean?
Clearly.
So I took that out on you. Your segue was too sweet. Anyways,
what a segue.
Hogan, DiBiase, and Vincent are the ones who come out. Hogan poses a bunch and then grabs a mic. He says, "We are on a mission from God." They're not in Chicago, so I don't understand that reference. Everywhere he goes, he hears that Piper has been there and has been dogging him. He says, that the WCW shot their mouth off and offered Piper a title shot for his NWO World Heavyweight Championship. Where do they get off? He talked with Ted and Vincent, and him being a man of honor, he said if Piper was here tonight, he would confront him and have Piper stop lying and admit that he is the better man. He then just repeats this over and over and over. And I personally think this version of Hogan has already kind of gotten old for me. I'm giving this a D.
Whoa. Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. Well, and we know what it's leading up to.
Yeah.
And I don't like it.
I do think it's not just a hindsight 2020 thing. I kind of really would like it if Hogan was just kind of like a sniveling idiot, just kind of smarmy. That would be way more fun. Like if he was just like, like he is in real life. That guy. If he was that guy, I think that'd be more fun on screen.
Allegedly. Because that man is litigious. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the match we've all been waiting for. Ultimo Dragon versus Ray Mendoza Jr., who is Viano 5 for the record.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But here, just Ray Mendoza Jr. for 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Tell me about this one.
So I actually had a moment where I was looking at my notes, forgot about this match, and I was like, "Oh, Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Ultimo Dragon." I looked at my grade, I was like, "That's all I gave this." I can't. And then you said Mendoza, and I was like, "Oh, that's why." Look, Dragon is in his underrated pink gear. I love this gear. It's not his classic green, but I do think it's quite good. This is actually a fun opener, and Mendoza gets a ton of offense in, which I was surprised by, though it does make sense. I mean, you on 05, you could do what you want. But Dragon hits the Avalanche Rana and then the Dragon Plex, and he gets the win. Everyone kind of expected that, but I do think this was an underrated match, so I actually gave this a B. I thought it was quite fun.
Even though we didn't get Rey Mysterio, we
Correct.
did get a Rana, and then it was over. Yeah, no, I liked it. Two good Mexican wrestlers doing well. Ultimo's not a Mexican wrestler, but he earned his stripes. I mean, he's really kind of
he's Mexican adjacent.
Yeah, he's an honorary Mexican.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah. like my wife. Yeah,
that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. And Feliz Cumpleaños to her because she recently had a birthday. So there you go.
That's true.
Look at that.
By the way, she loved your gift. If she never texted you,
she did text me and thanked me for it. That's wonderful, man. They're really tuning out now. My buddies now they talk about fucking birthday gifts. Anyways,
wives, who cares?
Yes. So, anyways, let's keep rolling. I think we just roll on to the next match, right? I don't have anything here.
It just goes right into the next match. I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of what tonight?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is kind of what WCW does, right? Because they've got this 2-hour format. They're trying to pack so much in. It's weird though, right? Because they do have 2 hours. You think that they could pull some stuff out, but they really pack in the matches. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't think it's a record, but it's still a lot of matches for 2 hours. Billy Kidman versus Glacier, 2 minutes, 8 seconds. Let me guess. I'm going to be the great Karnak here from Johnny Carson. Let me put a card on my head. I mean, I already know because I have the notes and I saw it. But Glacier is going to win with one of his slow-ass kicks. Am I right?
You're correct. I honestly thought you were going to guess what my review was because this is one of those 2-second reviews. We got to move on. All I have is poor Kidman. All he's done is get jobbed out to everybody. I gave it a D.
Yeah, not great. And again, I liked Glacier. I'm not liking him on the rewatch. It's just they're just doing nothing with him. Just doing nothing. We got an NWO denim jacket, $90. Buy it. You got anything to say? I like the jacket. That's all I got to say.
It's a good jacket. It's a good jacket. Yeah.
All right. After that, we find out that Eddie is going to defend the title. He's got the I didn't write this down. It's the Intercontinental title, right? Or what do they got?
Intercontinental Championship is WWF. They got the United States Championship.
That's the one. Yeah. See, I didn't write it down and I forgot. Eddie versus Dean on a Saturday night. Why not Nitro?
I know, right?
because we got to do Ice Train versus La Parka. Two guys I love, but
Yeah, that really more a Saturday night match.
Tell me about Ice Train versus La Parka, 5 minutes, 15 seconds.
We haven't seen Ice Train in forever, and it's great to see Penta on TV. This match is why I don't understand the weird trend. No, I said that. Yeah, that wasn't a slip. I threw that in on purpose. Bro,
look at that.
Penta's current gear, his black and white gear, looks just like La Parka.
But has he tried to kill a guy though?
I mean, Penta will, dude. Penta is hardcore as fuck. So
all right.
I kid though. I love Penta. You know I love Penta. So this match,
and I love La Parka minus trying to kill a guy. So
yeah. Well, he who hasn't tried to kill a guy, throw the first stone.
Fair.
This match is why I don't understand the weird trend WCW has been doing of late with jobbers. They have so much talent and they really have used none of their lower mid-card guys lately. So I do actually approve of the match, although I forgot about the Saturday nights thing. So now I'm pissed. But backstage, the Outsiders have beaten up Lex Luger with steel pipes. Ice Train wins a fun match with the splash. Kind of wish there was more offense from La Parka, who surprisingly was never in control. But I enjoyed the on-screen time for both men, so I'm giving this a C+.
Yeah, it was really a vehicle for the storyline, right? Of Luger getting attacked by the Outsiders and all that. But still, we like these guys and they're good. They're good in the ring, so I can't complain.
But you know what we don't like, Scott?
I was going to say, but you know what I can complain about? Is our next segment of the Times of the Horsemen, some kind of soap opera name. I'm trying to think of a soap opera name for what we're watching week after week here with the Horsemen.
Oh, man. That's such an interesting one.
Yeah, General Horseman.
General Horseman.
Instead of General Hospital, right? Because that's what this is becoming. It's ridiculous. We got the Horsemen out talking about Benoit. Benoit and the women are there. Arn isn't there. They can't trust each other. Mongo and I don't care. What do you make of it? I hate this.
Okay, I'm gonna start off and say that this gets a D. Gene says he thinks Benoit is one of the reasons why the Horsemen are back together. Are they? Anyways, they've been saying they are for weeks, to be fair, but it's just like they don't feel like it. Benoit says, yes, they have had injuries and disharmony, but by going through these trials and tribulations, they have come through stronger, which, to be fair, is a good idea. I like the idea. Then woman calls out Jacqueline, but specifically calls her Jacqueline. And I need to touch on this point because it pissed me the fuck off. Last week, Kevin Sullivan and Jacqueline made a big deal about never revealing her name, like it was going to get revealed by them when they chose to do it. And then they just throw that whole angle away in a throwaway, blah, 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 Jacqueline, blah, 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 blah line. And it was like, what? It was such a big fucking deal. And now it's just gone. Okay. Kevin Sullivan, by the way, who booked this, sucks at his job. Like, that was your storyline. How'd you fuck that up?
Well, did he, though? Well, maybe that wasn't the plan. I could believe Deborah flubbing, right?
It wasn't Deborah. It was woman.
Oh, that's right. Woman. Woman's more professional.
Yeah. Woman's been in the business for a long time.
Granted, woman and Kevin Sullivan don't get along super well. So maybe she's just like, F your storyline.
True. Could be. Oh, man. Mongo then says they are a unit again. Then he rambles because he always does. Then Deborah gets unwanted time. And she says she has won 318 pageants. I did not fact check that. I'll believe her because last time I tried to doubt her, she actually proved me wrong. So I'll say, good, 318. Sure, why not? And calls out Jacqueline for not being in her league. She says that Jacqueline has a face for radio. Now, let me be real clear. I don't think Jacqueline's an ugly person, but that I think is one of the funniest ways you can say that someone is ugly. It's an old joke. People use it all the time. Or a face only a mother could love. I think that's fine. I really didn't think it was too derogatory. Flair, he says we've worked through it all, and he also calls out Sullivan and kind of insinuates that he and Benoit tag team on woman. What? It was a weird line. So look, Look, the Horsemen are so fucking bad right now,
Yeah.
and Flair is going down with the sinking ship. I hated this.
He's styling and profiling while they're playing Nearer My God to Thee. That's the song they played on the Titanic when it was going down, just for reference. Anyways, yeah, well, and it's the same promo every week, right?
Yes, it's so bad. Oh my god.
Everything's fine, but this is how they break it down. Everything's fine, but also F everybody in the Horsemen. And then Ric Flair says everything's fine. We're together.
And then he says, "Woman, oh woman, won't you marry me now? Lovely Deborah," or something like that. And then he says, "We're styling and profiling. We're the best thing happening." And that's it.
Which is sad for me because I love me some Ric Flair. He is in his wilderness years right now. This is not good. He's in
a year ago. He was fire.
Yeah,
like he was so good the last 2 years. And 97 or not really. I guess not 96. We're just in 97. Like the back half of 96 has been so bad, and then going to 97 has been so bad.
I guess he just doesn't care because he's injured.
Yeah, maybe the days of our Horsemen, man. That's what the show is.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Thanks, appreciate you.
Yeah, I just maybe he doesn't like the storyline. I don't know. Maybe he's just not invested in the storyline because we're not invested in the storyline, so we get it, Rick.
Also, he notoriously hates Bischoff, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Fair. Yeah. Okay. All right. Harlem Heat. Well, we get some clips. I guess I should say before we get some clips because it leads into the next thing about the Steiners and the Faces of Fear going at it. But now we get Harlem Heat versus the Steiner brothers. And that's 5 minutes, 2 seconds.
Look, this is a hard-hitting match, and just as it starts to get good, the Faces of Fear and Public Enemy run in, and all tag teams are fighting each other. I want to hate this, but I'll give it some time to breathe because I don't really know where it's going at this point. So I'm giving it a D, but it could be something that I actually end up loving later on.
I agree because I thought this match was really going well. I liked this match, and then we had the weird finish. I get the Faces of Fear because obviously we showed the clips to remind us that that Steiners and Faces of Fear are feuding. I didn't really get why Public Enemy was there.
Yeah,
are they feuding with Harlem Heat? I don't know. Apparently we needed a fourth tag team, I guess. Oh, well, moving on. Hour number 2. We recap what has gone on in the first hour. If you weren't watching because you were watching some other wrestling program, why would you do that? And then we got Mike Enos versus Dennis Malenko himself.
Is Dean short for Dennis?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Hold on, let me click real fast. No. His real name's Dean Simon, though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Malenko, not really his last name.
Not to be confused with wrestler Simon Dean.
Oh, that's probably changed it.
Yeah.
7 minutes, 9 seconds, because Simon Dean said, "Hey, I'm the top dog here. You can't be using my name."
Simon Dean doesn't debut as Simon Dean for many years. He's actually in ECW. He is I don't know why I can't remember his name. The not Stevie Richards or Blue Meanie of Blue World Order.
Love
Nova.
Love the not Stevie Richards Blue Meanie of Blue World Order. Love him.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Anyway, tell us about this 7 minute, 9 second match, our longest match of Nitro.
Wow, that's crazy. Enos uses his size for a good long while, and Malenko has to systematically chop him down using submission holds, which I like, by the way. I love when people do that. Six comes through the crowd during the match and steals the Cruiserweight Championship, much like he did with the United States Championship. And this will actually continue for quite a few weeks. Malenko wins with a small package, and he finally realizes what has happened and is confused and angry as we head to commercial. I personally like this. I like this character from Six. The match itself was fine, too. I liked where the storyline's going. I'm giving it a B.
Again, the match was really a vehicle for the storyline, but a good storyline. So we liked it. Because we knew Mike Enos was going to lose, right? That's what he does. After we come back from a commercial break, we got Lee Marshall. Lee Marshall, Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in Jacksonville. What do you got to say about this?
Well, apparently he's in a Nitro party that's on the move. They started in Atlantic Beach. They're now in Neptune Beach. And they promised to stop by the University of North Florida. That's huge. I mean, a Nitro party that's
Wow.
going everywhere. Lee Marshall trying to conquer the whole state, frankly. He says,
Taking over.
He says, did you guys hear what happened yesterday here in Florida? It was Ground Weasel Day. And Punxsutawney Bobby stuck his head out of his condo and saw his shadow. So we're going to have 6 more weeks of bad taste. And then Bobby just says, I hate him. I love this.
The Bobby line was the icing on the cake. Just because he's got nothing. I think Bobby recognized game on that one. This one was just so over the top. Bobby had nothing and just, I hate him. It's so good. It's great. It's the best part of the night. But you know what else, Joseph, is in poor taste?
What's that, Scott?
Our next segment. It's not really. It's not. I guess it's not really in poor taste, but it's also like we need to stop this.
Yeah.
Because it's Kevin Sullivan, Jacqueline, and Conan for some reason. I guess
Conan's part of the Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah, but he's not in this angle.
No, he's not.
He's just there. Because we gotta do the Days of Our Horsemen again. I don't know. The Dungeon of Our Horsemen. There it is.
Oh, the Doom of Our Horsemen.
Oh,
that works.
Oh, I like that. We got to get some soapy music to go with that when we do these segments. Put it in the background.
Jamie, get on it.
Yeah. So, anyways, they're there, and it seems the implication is that Jacqueline is Kevin Sullivan's new girlfriend. That's the impression I get.
That's his new squeeze kind of thing. Yeah.
His strength comes from her. I mean, he's very clear.
Yeah.
And I hate it. Tell me.
So also you didn't mention this, but Jimmy Hart's there, which is important because Jimmy Hart will play a huge role in this promo, and it's not great. Gene says he knows, or who knows what happened 10 years ago behind closed doors. And then Sullivan says he forgot where his strength relied, which you implied to, which was Jacqueline. He says something about the dawn, the darkness, or before the dawn, the darkness comes, which just isn't the fucking line. And he says that Jacqueline has always been the light in his tunnel. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think Chris Nolan was watching February 3rd, 1997?
Chris Nolan was
That's
just
it.
like,
That's it.
This means something.
Mm-hmm.
then Jimmy Hart said, oh, to be clear, it's not just not the line because it's from The Dark Knight. It's also just not the line. Anyways, he said, Jimmy Hart then says that women in professional wrestling are nothing but trouble, and says that he hates women in wrestling and he'll get to the bottom of what she's really here for. Ew. Then Conan says Jacqueline is a fine Ruka, but we need to take care of business and destroy the 4 horsemen. Conan, the only one talking sense right now. Like the only one, which is surprising because he shouldn't fucking be there. Then he also wants to take care of Chris Benoit himself. And then Jacqueline says, and I quote, this is actually what she says. Unlike Deborah McMichaels, I didn't have to go through plastic surgery to get a body like this. Does that just mean that she has a valve on her chest that like hooks up to a bike pump?
Yeah, I remember when this happened. I remember vividly when this happened, and you and I were like, what? Because I don't know if Deborah's had plastic surgery, to be fair. Maybe she has, maybe she hasn't. I don't know.
No, she has. It's very clear that she has.
Okay. I don't know. I try not to judge. But Jacqueline's tatas,
yes,
are not natural.
No, nor are Deborah's, to be clear.
Okay. Well, I guess Deborah covers hers up a bit more, so I guess it's harder for me to tell. But Jacqueline's are out front and center.
Yeah.
And they're very clearly.
Yeah. And to be clear, the 2 things I want to point out. I'm not judging plastic.
Nothing wrong.
It's fine. If that's what you want to go with, that's fine. Whatever. And in Jacqueline's defense, what she's really talking about, besides her, bosom, as it were, is really her body, because her body, like, she is jacked. She has clearly worked the fuck out and is in incredible shape and will be in incredible shape. I think she's still in incredible shape. Like, she really does work out. And Deborah does not have that kind of a body. And that's not an insult to Deborah. Her body's fine, but it's not that kind of like worked out body. It's like she probably does cardio and simple things like that. And she has a very nice, pleasant body. Jacqueline is fucking ripped, and that's fantastic. So it's weird. It's a weird thing where it's like, on the one hand, I'm like, nah, you got plastic surgery. On the other hand, I'm like, but the rest of your body, I get. So it's weird. Anyways, enough about that. Sullivan kind of just calls woman a slut who slept with Flair, apparently. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. We're there again. And I hated this, and I gave it an F.
But he doesn't want to talk about this anymore. He doesn't want to talk about this anymore.
Doesn't want to talk about it. No.
Also, I do want to briefly go back to Deborah and Jacqueline because, as you say, you know, Jacqueline is Jacqueline?
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 Riptalin.
Oh, yeah, that makes tons more sense. Yeah, that's great. Silly me.
Yeah. I don't know how you see that connection. It was right there, Scott.
Yeah. After that, though, we got Self High Five. DDP versus the Renegade.
I don't think Renegade's going to win this one, Scott.
Yeah, you know, it's because I kind of like the Renegade, but he's a jobber, bro. Poor guy.
Yeah. DDP lets Renegade get his best moves in, but when Renegade goes to the top rope DDT, I'm sorry, I completely fucked it up. When he goes to the top rope is what happens. He does not go for a DDT. When he goes to top rope, DDP knocks him and hits the diamond cutter from the top rope. The first time I think we've seen him do it from the top rope, which is really cool. This variation he apparently calls the diamond death cutter, and he picks up the win. Commentary is the one who said that, so I don't know if that's true or not, and I don't know how often he's going to hit it from there. But it was a cool move. I mean, you know, he kind of just invented this whole thing, so I like seeing it. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash are waiting for him on the stage with the same steel pipes that they beat Luger with, and they're daring him to come their way. Scott Hall is wearing a Lex Luger shirt, and Kevin Nash is wearing the Giants shirt, which I think is fantastic. It's just a really good dig at their opponents in Super Brawl. DDP weighs his options as the outsiders head his way. Sting is in the crowd, and then in another location, so is Mach. So DDP, thinking he's surrounded by NWO people, he grabs a chair real quick and just gets ready to fight any of them. All four men end up leaving, and we're left in confusion. DDP is one of the few genuinely great things going on in WCW right now. WCW isn't bad, but it is a little stale at the moment, and I think DDP is the one thing keeping it going. I personally enjoyed this segment. I gave it a B.
I feel kind of like the most interesting thing of the night, this storyline. This right here with the outsiders, DDP, Sting, Mach, and I'm just kind of like, whoa, what's going on? I'm interested. You have me back. For Alex Wright and Super Callow. Again, two guys we like. But what is going on here? 6 minutes, 8 seconds.
It's actually brutal, right? Because this is the kind of match I do want to see on Nitro, but not to sacrifice having Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero on Saturday night. Much like Ice Train and La Parka, this is exactly what I want to see between major storylines. I think having these kinds of matches are key. Like, unfortunately, they are kind of bathroom break matches, but also if you're a kid and you're watching the screen, like these are the people that you start to kind of root for. You start to find, I really like this one. I don't like this one. And then they start gaining momentum. And that's really huge. Both men get a ton of offense. Callow goes for a senton bomb and Alex Wright dodges. Wright hits a missile dropkick for the win. And Ronnie jumps off his couch, fist pumping in the air. It's genuinely nice to see Alex Wright finally get a win again on Nitro. I gave it a B-.
Pointless, but entertaining.
Correct.
Which is kind of fun, right? Like, there's no storyline here. There's nothing going on. There's also isn't really anything during the match. This isn't just a vehicle for a storyline angle. It's a real honest-to-God match, and it was pretty fun. Didn't really serve a purpose for a storyline, but you need these matches. I think you need these matches. You need the palate cleansers, the slow it down a little bit kind of thing. So overall, I enjoyed it. After that, though, we get Conan versus Chris Benoit. So I guess now we know why Conan was out there. It was because he got a match. And it's 4 minutes, 15 seconds.
In Conan's defense, he did say he wanted this match. So during that promo, so there is that. Conan taunts Woman a lot every time he lands a move on Benoit, which I think is pretty good. Benoit fights back and does the slit throat taunt. I think this might be the first time we've seen it on Nitro. I can't remember. He punches, Jacqueline comes down and Benoit throws Conan over the top rope for the DQ because that rule has reared its ugly head around. He punches Hart and grabs the leather belt that Jacqueline was holding, getting ready to whip Woman. And he grabs it from her. Jackie keeps looking under the ring for something, but seemingly can't find it, and Conan has to drag her away. I gave this a D. I don't really know what the point of this end was.
The story needs to stop.
Yes.
That's what the point is. The story needs to stop. But we're really not done here, right? Because our next match is another kind of story that needs to stop. Is really the Horsemen. They just need to reset the Horseman angle because it's bad all around. Now we got Jeff Jarrett versus Steve McMichael because Jeff Jarrett is supposedly flirting with Deborah or something. Maybe they slept together. I don't know how far this has gone, but that's kind of the angle we've got here. And Steve Mongo McMichael and him are going to settle it in the ring. We're probably going to try and hit someone with the Halliburton, aren't we, Joseph?
Yeah, I think so. Deborah is trying to pull Mongo away as he walks down the ramp. She does not want this match to happen. Mongo is taking it to Jarrett. Jarrett eventually drop kicks Mongo out of the ring, and Deborah prevents him from getting back in the ring, so Mongo loses because he doesn't keep her in the kitchen, I'm assuming is what Zbyszko would say. Zbyszko's actually not on commentary, but he's made that line quite a few times. I didn't like this. I gave it another D.
And this is the main event.
Yep.
This is the main event. I forgot to mention that, but this is the main event. We're done. It's over. Or is it? Or is it? Because it should not be the end. Because why? We got Roddy Piper. That's exciting.
Yes.
Tell me, Joseph. Tell me about the Roddy man cometh.
Piper walks out with his young son, Colton. Piper gets a Roddy chant from the crowd. Piper says he already beat Hogan, so why should he wrestle him again? Then he introduces his son. He says he has his kids at home and he has nothing more to prove and rejects the title shot as the NWO music hits and Hogan and Bischoff come down to the ring. I do think that's actually quite interesting from Piper so far. Piper, looking kind of nervous and scared for his son, tells Hogan, Terry, don't do this, man. So he actually uses his real name, not his wrestling name. He says he isn't out to fight. Just let me go home. Hogan says that's weak, him begging for mercy. You claim to be an icon and had a chance at the NWO heavyweight title. Hogan points out that Piper has never been a heavyweight champion. Yeah, so maybe you should fucking drop it to him. Anyways,
Preach.
Hogan implies Piper is using his son as a scapegoat. He says it's obvious Piper doesn't want to get beat again. Bischoff says in front of the crowd and everyone, tell them that Hogan beat him like a drum. Piper, downtrodden, says softly, Hulk Hogan beat me like a drum. Bischoff says that's Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Piper repeats, Hollywood Hogan beat me like a drum. Gene pleads with Roddy, saying he doesn't have to be humiliated in front of his son. Piper says he just wants to get out of here. Hogan says the party isn't over yet. Now I want you to tell them when you get through the airports and Christmas shopping with his family and he goes to school, who's the wrestler they talk about? Who is the icon? And then Piper says that Hogan is the icon as Gene continuously pleads with Piper. Hogan says it feels good to tell the truth, doesn't it? Hogan says he's done with Piper. He says calling Piper a coward or yellow is one thing, but watching him hide behind a seatbelt, a woman, or a skirt, he doesn't deserve to be called a coward. He says Piper has sunk to the depths of humanity because he's hiding behind a kid, so why don't you just pack it up and get out of my sport? Roddy goes to walk out with his son. Piper kneels down to his son and says, I'm real sorry, and gets his son to leave the ring. As Hogan and Bischoff celebrate, Piper takes off his jacket and attacks both men. He grabs the title as they scamper off and the crowd erupts as Piper stands tall in the middle of the ring. He grabs a mic and says, "Let the games begin. At San Francisco, watch my fist go." I loved this segment. I gave it an A+, and all because of Roddy Piper. This segment is why Roddy Piper was a good actor and Hulk Hogan wasn't.
Fantastic segment. And I tell you why, because I don't, it's a fantastic segment because it made me uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like I had real reactions. I did not like what they were doing to Roddy Piper in front of his son. I was just like, I don't like this, which tells me it's great.
Yes. Yeah.
When I'm having a genuine reaction like that, it's great. And the end was great. Rowdy finally snaps. He's had enough. He's not going to let him treat him like this. Apologizes to his son for what he's about to see. Whips him. Has the belt. What a way to end it. Getting us ready for Super Brawl. That's fantastic. Can't wait for the match. Ah. Speaking of things I can't wait for, though, Raw. First time. 2 hours. They told us nothing about it. There was no hype. There was no get ready for it. Here it is, which is why I just went directly into it, because I wanted you to feel like we felt. It's just here now. 2 hours. It's here. For the love of God. How long is this podcast gonna go, Joseph?
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one to edit. But we're gonna have long podcasts from here on out because they're 2 hours on both shows. But
whoa. I was gonna say, it sounds like you're about to get into it, but I gotta tell people, Skydome, Toronto, Ontario. Now you can get into it because you're just chomping at the bit here.
Yeah, I want to get into this because we start off pretty hot. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Vader. Stone Cold and Vader get face to face, but Bret Hart runs in from behind Austin and attacks him. Bret swings at everyone and is eventually removed. Now, this is important because they're going to have a four-way match and both these guys are in it. So Bret should actually be fighting both men, not just Austin, even though Austin's the one he clearly fucking hates right now. Meanwhile, the lighting is absolute dog shit. This is a hard-hitting match, understandable given the competitors. The ref is pulling Austin off Vader, and Austin turns and hits the ref with the Stone Cold Stunner, Chef's Kiss, including the kick, which he has yet to do, I believe. Vader takes it to Austin outside of the ring, and Austin eventually throws Vader into the steps. Vader, not one to be outdone, slams Austin into the steel steps as well. Austin gets disqualified in a kind of weird end to the match, but I liked the beginning quite a bit and giving it a B.
It was fun. 8 minutes, 13 seconds of fun. And then we got Thursday Night Raw. We got a promo. Apparently next week it's going to be Thursday night.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So we're not going to talk about it because it's not on Monday, right?
No, we're going to talk about it because something important happens.
Shit.
I also hate that they keep calling it Thursday Raw Thursday.
Yeah, oh yeah, that is true. I do have that in my notes. Thursday, Raw, Thursday. Well, they want to be clear. I guess it's just they want you to remember it's on Thursday. Got to make it clear. Flash Funk versus Savio Vega. 4 minutes, 21 seconds.
JR interviews Savio and says that he's turned his back on the fans. Savio says he doesn't care and that the Nation of Domination will be number one. Doc Hendricks is in the Skybox with Vin Man. By the way, Skybox just means they recorded this way later. Doc speculates on whether Bret will attack the other men in the four-way hunt, as well as Sid and Shawn Michaels. The Nation gets involved because, of course, they did. And Flash misses a moonsault that Savio capitalizes on and gets the win. I didn't hate this. It's fine. It's a simple TV match. I gave it a C.
Yeah, nothing wrong. It's kind of how you expect it to finish, right? Nation isn't going to let anyone lose. And then we move on. We just kind of roll. There's not a whole lot of time to breathe in this night. So we just kind of keep rolling, right?
I kind of like that, to be honest.
Yeah. So let me see here. Let me go back through my notes because I lost my place. I got to admit, lost my place. Oh, important. Fem Nikita. It's on after. Very, very important. Get some clips. Yowzas. Because I think that's really all that show was. It was just kind of she just wears like tight stuff. Like it's like she's like a spy
Yeah, it's like pre-Alias, right?
Yeah, she's just like a pretty spy, and that's kind of the point of the whole show. Yeah.
I never watched it.
Anyways, well, Vince interviewed her, so that's important.
Also never watched Alias, even though it's got my girl in it. Apparently that was a pretty good show.
People like that show.
Yeah.
It was family viewing for a couple of seasons in my house.
Really?
So we would all huddle around the TV and watch it. I was one of those kind of Norman Rockwell families where we'd huddle around the TV at night and watch Friday or TGI Fridays and all that kind of stuff together. It's beautiful.
Yeah, same.
I'm so sorry. Anyways, Psycho Sid talking to Jim Ross. Tell me, is this a Sid promo we like or dislike, Joseph? I need to know.
JR asks Sid, in your gut, how do you feel about Shawn Michaels? Sid says he's heard Shawn say himself that the relationship they have is a weird one. It's a roller coaster. He can say it's a friendship on the edge of madness. Even Shawn would agree that evil is evil, but sometimes we mistake it for happiness. Evil showed up at Survivor Series, but the roller coaster ride is over. When the smoke clears, I will be standing the man and the master and ruler of the world. Gave it a C. Sid, it's not Sid's best. It's not his worst. But there is one thing I'm getting sick of, which is him saying, I'm the man, and then saying, I'm the master and ruler of the world. You got to choose a lane. One of those has to be your nickname. You can't have both.
He's master and commander at the far side of the world. Napoleon has conquered Europe. The seas are open battlefields, and Psycho Sid is the only thing standing in the way.
Dude, I love it. Juan Phoenix is Psycho Sid.
Ooh.
Did I say Juan? Did I say Juan?
I let it roll, bro. I just let it roll. Joaquin,
yeah. Juan Phoenix. That would be great, dude. I wanted to see that.
Mm-hmm. In the biopic, he would do it too. Joaquin Phoenix do weird shit. He'd do the Psycho Sid biopic.
Absolutely, yeah.
After that, though, we go backstage to Owen Hart and the British Bulldog because they got a match coming up, don't they?
They do. Vince reminds Bulldog that Owen eliminated him at the Rumble. Owen interjects and says, don't start trouble. I apologized. It was an accident. Then Vin Man points out that Bulldog called Owen an idiot after that happened. Owen is upset and the two argue. It's fine. It was very quick. I gave it a C, and it's not a bad thing. It's a segment to move us along into their match.
Because Vince stirring the pot here.
Absolutely.
Right before Doug Furnas and Phil LaFon versus Owen Hart and the British Bulldog for the tag team titles. 14 minutes, 30 seconds.
Apparently, Doug Furnas has the flu, okay? Doc Hendricks points out that if the flu does for him what it did for HBK a few weeks ago, we may have new champions tonight. Really cool bit of commentary from Doc. I liked it a lot. Owen and Bulldog argue a few times during the match. Phil LaFon thinks he's won when he gets a 3-count pin, but instead the ref realizes that Owen's leg was on the ropes. Owen Hart gets counted out when he twists his knee, so the titles do not change hands, which Owen is fine with, honestly. Owen keeps faking this supposed knee injury, and Bulldog is not happy about it, and they argue again. I like what's going on with Owen and Bulldog. Also, the match was quite good. I gave this a B.
All the guys involved are pretty good wrestlers, so there's nothing wrong with this. The action was hot. I like the Owen angle. I think Owen is selling it great, where Owen's just kind of like, yeah, bro, we won. Just let it go. And Bulldog's like, no, I want to win legit. So I like this division that's happening here, and that's fun. What I don't like, though, is Ahmed Johnson on the mic, because that comes up next. And I have no idea what he's talking about. He says something about Prozac, and apparently he's not taking it anymore. And then there's there's just a lot of screaming.
Okay. So you're going to be surprised. I actually kind of like this promo. Ahmed says, yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is just the beginning. JR says that Ahmed has been chasing the nation. What's in store for them? Then Ahmed Johnson says there's a lot in store because guess what? He doesn't take his Prozac anymore. And when he gets off Prozac, brother, you don't know what might happen to you. Okay, real talk here. As someone who has bipolar disorder and depression, when you decide to just go off your meds, you 1000% become a different person. So Ahmed's kind of right here. I kind of like this. Vin Man asks about Savio. And an incensed Ahmed Johnson becomes inaudible Ahmed, but I'm fairly certain he's threatening Savio in some sort of way. All things considered, I like this, especially the Prozac line. I'm giving this a madman's B.
I mean, Savio going down, right? I mean, that's all I assume.
Going down.
But then you know, we just had the madman, but then we get the dead man showing up, don't we?
Do we?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't have this on my notes at all.
Oh my God. He shows up and then Ahmed says,
oh, that's right. Cause they're going to like tag together.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah. And he basically tells Ahmed like, don't jump the gun. We'll take them out together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Ahmed says something about being Undertaker, not his daddy or something. Yeah. I don't know.
I thought it was sensible from Taker. It made a lot. It was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I'm fine with it.
Yes, Taker is absolutely the reasonable one in this interaction. I think that's very clear. After that, though, we get Crush versus Goldust. 8 minutes, beautiful. 19 seconds. Thank you.
I love that your Goldust became Dusty Rhodes at the end of it.
Because that's what it's got to be, baby.
Hunter hears Helmsley comes down during the match. Then he just leaves. Savio attacks Goldust while the ref is distracted, and Crush hits the heart punch for the win. I did not like this segment. I gave it a D.
Anytime the heart punch is involved, I don't like it. It's a terrible finisher.
It really is.
He just punches people in the chest and then they die or something. It's bad. It's bad. Anyways, let's move on. I mean, I guess Triple H was there, right? Hunter Hearst Helmsley kind of.
Yeah, but he did nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the angle that he's like trying to steal Marlena because he's got his harem of ladies. Whatever. That was
which he doesn't have anymore.
No, he doesn't. But I thought we should mention it just so people get the full, the full spectrum here. And then we get a Black Jax promo. Woo, that's exciting. And then Shawn Michaels in what Vince calls Bret Hart country. What'd you think about this one?
I think this is so far pretty good, just based off of him being in Bret Hart country. Shawn says the WWF title represents the best of the WWF. He says he finds Sid to be correct when he says the title has actually brought out the worst in everyone, including himself. The fact is, being a bad guy is what you have to be the World Wrestling Federation champion. Then he'll be the worst guy the WWF has ever seen. 1997 Shawn Michaels? No, surely not. Anyways, he says that turnabout is fair play. I got supported in San Antonio. And if the people of Canada want to celebrate their guy, Bret Hart, that's fine with him. He isn't worried about being popular anymore. He worries about being number one. Vin Man says that Bret has said some harsh things about HBK and asks if he will respond even in Canada. Shawn says, certainly. I'm very used to being disliked. 1997 Shawn Michaels? No, surely not. When you have this title and you're honest, it's easy to be disliked. Everyone hated Muhammad Ali when he was the champion. Now everyone refers to him as the greatest of all time. His mama call him Hickenbottom. I'm going to call him Hickenbottom.
Whoa!
Bret, you can be the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, if that's what you want to call yourself. One thing you will not call yourself right now is World Wrestling Federation champion. Really solid line from Shawn. Then Bret comes down to the ring, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. He says no matter how much he tries to like Shawn, he finds it harder and harder to all the same. When I think about the things I've said about you, I think you capped it best or something like that when you called yourself a degenerate. So that's another time we've heard degenerate. That's not going to happen for 6 more months, something like that. He says, and you may pride yourself on being able to be a complete and total jackass, but the truth of the matter is we don't have to like it. As far as I'm concerned, you're nothing but a punk. You can stop me anytime you want to. Then Shawn says, okay, I'll stop you now. I'll be a jackass. I'll be a degenerate. I'll be whatever you want. And I'll also be heavyweight champion. Then Austin attacks Hart out of nowhere, and Shawn just watches as they fight around the ring, which makes sense. Then Sid comes to the ring, and he shouts at Shawn. We cut to commercial, and when we come back, Austin and Sid have been escorted back. It's just HBK and Hitman in the ring face to face. Shawn's title is on the ground, and he goes to pick it up, and Bret steps on it. Shawn backs up, and Bret picks it up. Shawn removes his vest, ready to fight, and Bret hands him the title, but when he reaches for it, he throws it on the ground, and then he leaves. I actually think that Austin and Sid hurt this segment. It was getting really intense between the two and then got halted abruptly. I did enjoy the segment overall, but I really think it should have just been Shawn and Bret for this one. I'm giving it a B.
Agree. I don't really feel like Steve Austin and Psycho Sid contributed much. And you and I really enjoy Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels shooting at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because they hate each other and they're saying real stuff and it's clearly pissing each other off and it's just fun to watch.
Yes,
they're making side comments that you're not supposed to get in 1997, but we get in hindsight, and it's just kind of fun to watch. The anger, just because when Shawn, like one of the most famous ones is when Shawn refers to sunny days with Bret, and Bret knows exactly what that means, and you see the anger on his face. Fantastic. We like it. After that, though, Tiger Ali Singh signs a WWF contract. I completely forgot he was even involved.
Me too.
Have we seen him wrestle?
No, he was on like an overseas thing, and then they signed him. Yeah,
but like, I mean, obviously we're ahead, right? We're like late 90s.
Oh, you mean have we watched him in our private watch? Yeah, he does wrestle a couple times and then he's gone.
Because I looked him up and he's with the company till 2002.
He may wrestle a couple times more, but we've only seen him like twice,
like 5 times in how many years? That's wild. Anyways, apparently he's from Canada, and he says that he's going to help carry the Canadian flag to even greater heights than Bret Hart. Whoa. Doesn't happen. Mark Marrow versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley for the Intercontinental Championship, 13 minutes, 57 seconds.
No managers are allowed during the match. This is probably the best match we've seen on Raw tonight, and they get an awful lot of time in this one. These two have been rivals, however. I wouldn't say that they have a story going on at this moment, but their rivalry is all kind of, dead. So this is a very good TV match for the working man's title, but not really a rivalry match between the two of them. Marrow hits the Marrow Salt, but Hunter kicks out. With the ref distracted by an exposed turnbuckle, Hunter uses a foreign object and punches Marrow with it and picks up the win. I gave it a B. I thought it was quite good. I like when the IC championship is regularly defended on Raw. Personally, it's the working man title for a reason. I think it should always be defended on Raw, or at least twice a month, bare minimum. I like this quite a bit. I gave it a B.
Good match. We like both these guys. I can't really say more than you said. So let's move on. We got the match of the night here, right? This is it. This is the main event. Undertaker, Ahmed Johnson versus Farouk and Mankind in a no holds barred tag team match.
Yeah,
10 minutes 29 seconds. What?
That's my first note. Is LOL. What? Farouk has an actual stable, so why is he tagging with Mankind? That makes no sense. I guess Taker and Mankind are feuding, so that's the kind of story here, which I kind of get, but I'm like, Farouk has a fucking stable. Anyways, the Nation, of course, speaking of those stables, comes out to support Farouk as we cut to commercial. Farouk hits Ahmed with the Dominator, but Taker does his rise to break up the pinfall. Mankind charges Taker with a chair, but Taker big boots it back into Mankind's face. Ahmed fights the Nation as Taker chokeslams Mankind. Ahmed takes out the Nation with a 2x4 as Mankind gains the upper hand on Taker. Mankind had powder, presumably Vin Man's cocaine, and was ready to use it on Taker, who smacks it back in Mankind's face. As the ref looks at Mankind, Vader attacks Taker with a splash. Vader gets Mankind to pick up Taker and goes to hit him with the chair, but Taker ducks and he clobbers Mankind in the head instead. Taker fights off Vader and hits a tombstone on the chair, and Taker picks up the win. Even though I wasn't quite understanding why the booking was happening, this match is actually quite a bit of fun. It's all over the place. I gave this a B.
Agree. It's a fun match. I just don't understand why the booking happened this way, as you said. That's really it. I just don't know what's why. But that is it, right? We're done. So what do you think? Who won?
I was pretty ready to give this to WCW because I watched Raw first and I wasn't in love with this episode. It's fine. The episode itself is fine, but I wasn't in love with it. And then I watched WCW and I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to give this one to Raw.
Giving it to Raw again?
Yeah.
My God. Let me go back and look at the card.
3/4 of WCW is Doom of the Horsemen.
That's ooh. My guy's making points here. My guy is making points here. I think you might be right. I think I might have to give it to Raw because I do hate that Horseman angle. and while Raw is kind of nonsense on some level with some bookings and stuff, like
it's all over the place. Yeah,
it's fun though.
Yeah,
I saw someone talk about how WCW and Raw are kind of polar opposites right now, where Nitro is kind of really fun at the bottom of the card, mid-bottom card, and the top of the card is kind of getting stale, while Raw is fun at the top of the card, but really has nothing below it.
Correct.
Right. And so I think that's really where it was. And I think the top of the card shined brighter tonight on Raw than the mid-bottom of the card shined on Nitro. So I think I got to give it to Raw, which goes against the ratings because Nitro won.
Yeah. Nitro going to keep winning. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's exciting, though. I think, people just think that Raw has been bad, right, for a long time. And I think it's nice, though, that they're starting to really turn it around. I think we're seeing the turnaround in front of us. And I think a lot of these Nitro wins kind of just resting on their laurels to some extent and how bad Raw was.
Which is why once Raw starts winning, they don't know how to pivot because they have been resting on their laurels for too long.
Yeah. So it's fun to see. It's fun to watch. And it really is surprising because I didn't remember this happening so quickly. The reversal. I'm really surprised how fast in the rewatch, how fast Nitro peaks.
Yeah.
But I think that does it for us, right, Joseph? You got anything more to add?
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, everybody, it's Joseph. And guess what? Not only can you listen to us every Monday on Spotify, but you can find us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube Podcasts as well. Just search for Monday Night Wars Podcasts. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us on Twitter at MON Night Wars Pod, on Instagram at Monday Night Wars Podcast, or just email us at mnwpodcast@gmail.com. And finally, subscribe to our Patreon at Monday Night Wars Podcast. For $2 a month, you get every pay-per-view from WCW and WWF during this era, as well as additional content later on. Once again, thank you for listening. We'll see you here next time on the Monday Night Wars Podcast.